Imagine walking into a room carrying a secret weapon, a quiet strength that no one else can touch. It's not your looks, it's not your charm, it's the power of what you choose to keep to yourself. Now, I want you to think, what if sharing certain things about yourself too early could change how people see you, how they treat you, or even how they try to control you? Today, I'm going to reveal truths that most women don't talk about, but should. Truths that can protect your heart, safeguard your independence, and give you an edge in life and relationships. This isn't about hiding who you are. It's about knowing the weight of your words, the power of your personal information, and the control that comes from keeping certain things sacred. Some of these truths will make you stop and think. Some might even make you uncomfortable, but trust me, understanding them is the difference between giving away your power and owning it fully. By the end of this conversation, you'll see why discretion isn't weakness. It's strategy. And once you understand what to protect, you'll step into every room, every relationship, and every challenge with a confidence that no one can shake. Your financial life is one of the most personal, powerful aspects of who you are, yet it's also one of the most underestimated. How much you earn, how you spend, how you save. It's not just numbers on a screen. It's your freedom. It's your independence. And here's the truth. When you share too much about your financial situation with someone too soon, you're handing them a map to your life. You're giving them the tools to influence you, manipulate you, or even judge you before they truly know who you are. Think about it. Money is more than money. It's security. It's the ability to make choices without needing permission. When you let someone in on exactly what you earn, your debts, or your spending habits, you're not just sharing information, you're opening a door. And once that door is open, you may not realize who steps through or what they might do with that knowledge. Some men may react with admiration, some may react with judgment. Some may try to take advantage of your financial situation, testing boundaries under the guise of love or concern. And some may simply form opinions about you that have nothing to do with your character but everything to do with your numbers. Now, I'm not saying you should hide everything or live in secrecy. That's not the point. The point is this. Financial discretion is a strategy. It's about holding a part of your life close, giving you power, and controlling the narrative. Let me give you an example. Imagine a woman who openly shares her salary, her savings, and how she invests her money within the first few months of dating. She thinks she's being transparent, honest, and trusting. But what often happens is subtle. The man may begin to test her, make suggestions, or try to influence how she spends. Maybe he tries to guilt her into covering bills or buying him gifts he can't afford himself. Maybe he starts to judge her choices, calling her spending frivolous or criticizing her saving habits. None of this comes from malice always. Sometimes it's unconscious, but it chips away at your confidence, your autonomy, and over time, your control of your own life. Keeping your finances private doesn't mean mistrust. It means wisdom. It means understanding that your money is yours, and no one else should have the power to influence your decisions simply because they know your exact numbers. It means giving yourself the time to truly know someone before you allow them into a part of your life that affects your independence. Because here's the reality. Once you share, you can't take it back. Once someone knows exactly what you earn, what you own, or what you owe, they hold information that can subtly or overtly shift the balance of power in the relationship. There's also another layer to this. People will always have opinions about money. Some will envy you, some will downplay your accomplishments. Some may even try to compete with you or diminish your achievements. By keeping your financial information private, you protect yourself from the unnecessary weight of someone else's judgment. You maintain the ability to operate freely, make decisions without external pressure, and build a life on your own terms. Think about financial independence as armor. Every woman should have it. Not just a little, but a strong, solid foundation. When you are financially independent, you make choices because they serve your goals, your happiness, your growth, not because someone else expects or pressures you. And financial discretion enhances that armor. By not oversharing, you maintain the integrity of your armor. You remain strong, self-sufficient, and untouchable in ways that are subtle but profoundly impactful. And here's the beauty of this strategy. Keeping your finances private doesn't isolate you. It doesn't prevent intimacy. In fact, it creates a deeper respect in relationships. People respect what they cannot control. People value what is carefully guarded. By showing that you have boundaries around your money, you are also showing that you have boundaries around your life, your time, and your energy. That's magnetic. That's powerful. And it's a message that resonates far beyond the dating world. It applies to friendships, colleagues, and anyone who might try to influence or judge you based on information that is not theirs to wield. The key is this: share what you choose, when you choose, and with whom you choose. Let your actions speak louder than your numbers. Let the trust be earned over time, not given away in a first conversation. This is not about secrecy for secrecy's sake. It's about empowerment. It's about maintaining control of a part of your life that shapes your freedom. It's about protecting the very thing that allows you to walk away from situations, relationships, or challenges that no longer serve you. So, remember this: your financial situation and spending habits are yours first. They define your independence, your choices, and your life trajectory. Guard them wisely. Discuss them strategically. Let them reflect your values, your goals, and your power, not someone else's judgment or expectations. When you do this, you're not just protecting your money. You're protecting your autonomy, your dignity, and your future. And when you protect those, you walk into every room, every relationship, and every opportunity with a confidence that is unstoppable, undeniable, and utterly unshakable. Your past relationships, every heartbreak, every mistake, every lesson are yours and yours alone. They shaped you, yes, but they do not define your present or your future. And yet there is a temptation that many women face, a pull to share every detail of the emotional baggage they carry with the people they date. It's natural to want to be understood, to be seen, and to feel safe with someone. But here's the hard truth: oversharing about your past can sometimes weigh you down rather than lift you up. It can shift the balance of power in ways you don't anticipate, and it can invite judgment, comparison, or even emotional manipulation. Think about it. When you talk about exes too soon, you may think you're offering transparency or being relatable. But what you're really doing is handing over a blueprint of your emotional history. You're giving someone a lens to judge your choices, to measure your worth, or to compare themselves against those who came before. Even if they're well-intentioned, there's always a subtle risk. People carry biases, insecurities, and assumptions, and suddenly your past is no longer just yours. It becomes a tool for them to understand, question, or even control you. It's not that men will automatically misuse this information, though some do. It's that the very act of sharing your past so openly can unconsciously lower your authority in the relationship. It can signal, "Here is all my history, now take me as I am." And while that might sound innocent, in reality, it places a weight on the other person to process and internalize, often before they're even ready to understand or appreciate it. Your past is not a diary entry to be dissected. It's a collection of experiences that built your resilience, your wisdom, and your strength. Treat it as such. Guard it with respect. Share it selectively, and share it on your terms. Your emotional baggage is not a flaw. It's proof that you survived, that you learned, that you evolved. But here's the thing: not every detail is necessary to tell someone else. You don't owe anyone a play-by-play of your heartbreaks or traumas. You don't need to explain every wrong choice or every heartbreak to justify your current self. What matters is what you carry forward, your lessons, your boundaries, and your growth. That is the part that should be visible, not the raw, unprocessed wounds. By keeping the details private, you maintain control over your narrative and protect your emotional well-being. Many women make the mistake of thinking that sharing everything will accelerate intimacy. But intimacy is not created by dumping the contents of your emotional past into someone's lap. Intimacy is built on trust, respect, and the slow unveiling of who you truly are, layer by layer, not all at once. When you overshare, you risk creating a relationship dynamic where the other person feels burdened, where they define you by your past mistakes rather than your present strength. It can also trigger a sense of comparison, how you handled your past versus how they perceive themselves. This comparison can subtly shift dynamics and even create insecurity or judgment, none of which you need in a healthy relationship. There's a power in discretion. There's a magnetism in knowing that you hold certain truths close because they are yours to carry, not theirs to dissect. Eve. Rye woman who has learned this understands that her past is like armor. It protects her, gives her perspective, and builds her intuition. It allows her to navigate relationships with awareness, to set boundaries confidently, and to recognize red flags that others might miss. Oversharing can weaken that armor, exposing vulnerabilities before trust has been earned. Let's be honest. Your past relationships shaped your standards. They shaped your expectations of love, respect, and partnership. But that shaping doesn't require a public airing. You can enter a new relationship with the wisdom of experience without exposing the raw, sensitive details that could be misinterpreted. You can communicate lessons, boundaries, and what you want or don't want without delving into the intimate specifics of heartbreaks or betrayals. This is not deception, this is strategy, this is empowerment, this is emotional intelligence in action. Imagine a woman who carries the scars of her past with grace, without revealing every detail. She doesn't discuss every former lover or every heartbreak. She speaks about her lessons, her values, her boundaries, and her expectations. She is mysterious in the most compelling way, inviting respect rather than pity, admiration rather than judgment. She controls the narrative of her life. She decides what to reveal and when, and in doing so she maintains her dignity, her independence, and her emotional authority. There's another subtle power in this approach. Self-respect. By keeping your past private, you tell the world and yourself that you are more than the sum of your experiences. You are not defined by who hurt you, by mistakes you made, or by choices that no longer serve you. You are defined by your resilience, your wisdom, and your ability to stand tall despite everything you've been through. Sharing too soon risks letting someone else define that F. Or you. Guarding your past ensures that only those who earn the right to know it see it in the context of who you are now. So remember this. Your past relationships and emotional baggage are yours first. They are lessons, not liabilities. They are proof of your growth, not an excuse for scrutiny. By keeping them private, you preserve your power, your dignity, and your freedom to build new relationships on your own terms. Share selectively, share intentionally, and share with those who have earned the right to witness your journey, because when you do, you transform your past from a potential liability into a secret source of strength. You walk into every new connection, every new challenge, and every new opportunity carrying confidence, resilience, and self-respect. You do not need validation for what you've endured. You do not need permission to move forward. And above all, you do not owe anyone the keys to your past before they have earned the right to hold them. Your vulnerabilities are sacred. They are the parts of you that no one can see unless you choose to show them. They are your fears, your insecurities, your private battles, the things that make you human, yes, but also the things that, if shared indiscriminately, can be used to manipulate, judge, or control you. Every woman carries them, and every woman has a choice to reveal them freely to anyone who asks, or to guard them wisely until trust has been earned. This choice is not about being cold or distant. It is about strategy, self-respect, and maintaining control over the most intimate parts of yourself. Think about it for a moment. When someone knows your deepest fears, your most hidden insecurities, and your private struggles, they hold power over you. Even unintentionally, a man can leverage that information, consciously or subconsciously, in ways that shift the balance in the relationship. Maybe. He challenges you on decisions that touch those vulnerabilities, knowing you will hesitate. Maybe he teases, criticizes, or judges, and you find yourself shrinking even slightly to avoid discomfort. Maybe he uses your fears as leverage during arguments or disagreements. This is not paranoia, it's human nature. Knowledge of someone's deepest weaknesses can influence behavior. And that is why discretion is not just wise, it is essential. This does not mean you should build walls around your heart forever. Vulnerability has its place, and it has power, but vulnerability should be shared deliberately, not impulsively. It should be shared with people who have proven that they will handle it with care, respect, and empathy. When you overshare too soon, you risk being seen not as a strong, capable woman with depth, but as someone fragile, overly dependent, or emotionally raw. That misperception can shape how someone interacts with you, how they treat you, and even how seriously they take you. Imagine a woman who enters a relationship carrying her deepest fears and insecurities, and she shares them immediately. She wants connection, and that's natural. But what often happens is subtle. The other person may begin to test her limits, intentionally or unintentionally, to see if she will crumble under pressure. He may start to question her decisions or subtly undermine her confidence, not because he is malicious, but because he now knows her weak points. This is why timing, discretion, and self-awareness are everything. Protect your vulnerabilities until you can trust the other person to treat them as sacred, not as ammunition. Your fears are not flaws. They are signals. They are indications of what matters to you, where your boundaries lie, and what you hold dear. But exposing them indiscriminately can blur the line between strength and weakness in the eyes of someone who has not earned the right to witness them. You want to be admired for your courage, your intelligence, your resilience, not pitied for the things that scare you. You want people to respect your boundaries, your choices, and your limits, not test them because they know your hidden fears. There is also incredible power in restraint. There is magnetic energy in a woman who understands her vulnerabilities, who faces them, and who shares them only with those who deserve to see the full depth of her soul. By keeping your fears private, you maintain control over your emotional narrative. You decide when to reveal a piece of your heart, not out of desperation, but as a deliberate act of trust. You choose to show strength in the moments that matter, and wisdom in moments that could otherwise compromise your confidence. Discretion with vulnerabilities also teaches self-reliance. When you hold certain fears close, you give yourself the space to process, to grow, and to conquer them without external interference. You learn to navigate life's challenges using your own resilience rather than seeking immediate validation or reassurance from others. This self-reliance not only empowers you, it inspires those around you. People are drawn to strength, not fragility. They respect women who understand themselves, who carry their fears with dignity, and who reveal them with intention, not impulse. It is crucial to remember that sharing vulnerabilities is not dishonesty, it is strategy. It is the difference between broadcasting every fear and challenge to the world versus selectively sharing with those who have proven their loyalty, empathy, and integrity. When done correctly, it fosters trust, deep connection, and mutual respect. When done prematurely, it can weaken your sense of control, expose you to unnecessary judgment, and even attract people who are drawn to drama or weakness rather than partnership and growth. Every woman has fears. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of being misunderstood. Every woman has insecurities, doubts about appearance, intelligence, or worth. But these are yours to manage first. You do not owe anyone a full disclosure of every internal struggle. You do not need someone else to validate your fears before you face them. By keeping these aspects of yourself private, you assert ownership of your life, your emotions, and your boundaries. You maintain the power to decide who gets to witness your journey and under what circumstances. When you master this, when you learn to safeguard your vulnerabilities and share them only with those who have earned the right, you step into a rare and commanding kind of strength. You carry yourself with confidence, knowing that your emotional life is yours to govern. You engage with relationships intentionally, not out of fear or need, but from a place of empowered choice. You transform your fears from potential liabilities into sources of quiet power. So remember this, your deepest fears and personal vulnerabilities are sacred. Guard them wisely. Share them strategically. Reveal them only to those who have earned your trust and respect. By doing so, you protect your emotional autonomy, maintain your dignity, and walk through life with an authority that is undeniable. Every choice you make in this arena shapes not just your relationships, but your self-respect, your confidence, and your ultimate ability to thrive. And when you carry yourself this way, there is nothing, no challenge, no person, no circumstance that can shake the power you hold within. Your sexual history and intimate experiences are among the most personal, private aspects of your life. They are yours and yours alone, and they carry a weight that goes far beyond physical encounters. They shape your sense of self, your boo, Aries, and your understanding of intimacy, but they are not a ledger to be shared casually or early in a relationship. Sharing these details too soon, or with the wrong person, can have consequences you might not anticipate. It can subtly shift how someone perceives you, how they treat you, and even how they attempt to influence your decisions. The truth is, your sexual past is your private story, and keeping it guarded is not secrecy, it is strength. Too often, women feel pressure, social, cultural, or emotional, to disclose everything about their intimate lives. They think that transparency equals trust, that honesty equals connection. But this is a misconception. True connection is not built on the details of who you've been with or what you've done. It is built on respect, boundaries, and emotional intelligence. Oversharing can unintentionally place the focus on your past rather than on who you are now, and that can shift the dynamic in ways that undermine your confidence and your power. Imagine for a moment a woman who openly recounts every intimate experience she's had with former partners in the early stages of dating. She believes this will create honesty, openness, and trust. But what often happens is subtle. The other person may start to compare themselves, consciously or unconsciously, to those who came before. They may judge, even quietly, her choices or her past. They may question her values or her standards, when in reality, none of that defines who she is in the present. In some cases, oversharing can even lead to a lack of respect, because intimacy shared too early can be confused with dependence or vulnerability that hasn't been earned. Keeping your sexual history private does not mean living in shame or pretending it doesn't exist. It means understanding that your story is yours to tell, and only when you choose, and only to those who have earned the right to witness it. There is incredible power in discretion. When you reveal intimate details selectively, you maintain control over your narrative, your dignity, and your sense of self-worth. You are not defined by what you've done, but by how you carry yourself today, the choices you make, and the boundaries you uphold. Your sexual past is tied deeply to your autonomy. When you share it prematurely, you give away a piece of your personal power. It's not about mistrust, it's about strategic self-preservation. Every woman deserves to be seen for her present self, not judged for her history. By keeping intimate details private, you ensure that the respect you receive is based on who you are now, not on assumptions about your past. This is not manipulation, it is wisdom. It is recognizing that some information, no matter how personal, can shift dynamics in ways that may not serve your growth or your goals. There's also an emotional component to consider. Intimacy is sacred. It's a deep, personal connection that can build trust, but it is also one of the most vulnerable places we can exist. By oversharing details about past encounters, you risk trivializing that vulnerability. You risk creating an emotional imbalance where one person has more insight into your history than they should, which can be used, even unconsciously, to influence or control your behavior. Protecting your sexual history is a form of self-respect. It ensures that the person who earns the right to this knowledge approaches it with reverence, empathy, and care. Discretion around intimacy is also about timing. True trust is earned over time, not given away immediately. When you reveal your intimate history too early, you may inadvertently allow someone to use that information as a measure of your worth, your values, or your morality. But when you keep this information private until trust has been established, you maintain a power that is quiet but undeniable. You create a dynamic where respect, curiosity, and genuine interest in who you are now take precedence over judgment of who you once were. Consider this. A woman who approaches her sexual history with strategic discretion is magnetic. She commands respect without demanding it. She attracts people who are interested in her for her intelligence, her character, and her strength, not for the details of her past. She is confident in herself, not defensive. She is empowered, not apologetic. And she sets a tone that every woman should emulate. Her history is hers to tell, on her terms and with intention. It is also important to remember that sexual history is deeply intertwined with boundaries. By keeping intimate details private, you reinforce your ability to set and maintain boundaries in all areas of life. You demonstrate that you are in control of your body, your choices, and your story. You show that intimacy is sacred, not casual, and that respect must be earned before access is granted. This principle does not just protect you in relationships, it strengthens your sense of self and your ability to navigate life with confidence. Your intimate life is yours to own, and discretion ensures that it remains a source of strength, not vulnerability. It teaches you to value yourself, to prioritize respect, and to maintain control over the narrative of your life. You are more than your past experiences. You are defined by your choices, your confidence, and the dignity with which you carry yourself every single day. Protecting this aspect of yourself is not secrecy. It is strategy, empowerment, and self-respect in its purest form. So remember this, your sexual history and intimate details are sacred, and they deserve to be treated as such. Keep them private, Share them only with those who have proven that they can. And handle your story with care, empathy, and respect. When you do, you preserve your power, your dignity, and your independence. You maintain control over your life, your narrative, and your heart. And when you walk into any relationship or any situation with this understanding, you carry a confidence, a self-respect, and an inner strength that is unstoppable, undeniable, and utterly magnetic. Your goals and ambitions are the blueprint of your life. They define the path you're walking, the dreams you're chasing, and the legacy you're building. And yet, there is a tendency for some women to reveal these plans too soon, sharing their biggest dreams, their next moves, or even the smallest intentions with people who may not have earned the right to witness them. While sharing ideas can feel like openness, in reality, it can put your power at risk. Your ambitions are your strength, and sharing them prematurely or with the wrong person can invite judgment, doubt, or even subtle sabotage. The truth is, your goals are sacred, and discretion is not secrecy, it's strategy. Think about it. When you reveal your ambitions too early, someone may respond in ways you don't anticipate. They may offer advice that's rooted in their own fears, rather than your vision. They may unintentionally diminish your enthusiasm or challenge your confidence. They may compare themselves to your plans, making you feel the weight of judgment instead of support. Even if the intent is innocent, the effect can be damaging. Sharing your goals indiscriminately gives others influence over your direction, and when your dreams are in the hands of someone who hasn't earned your trust, that influence can quietly steer your life in ways you did not intend. This is where discernment comes in. Keeping your goals and ambitions private is not about mistrust, it's about protecting your energy, your focus, and your trajectory. Your vision deserves clarity, commitment, and careful cultivation before it is exposed to external opinions. Every great achievement begins as an idea, a plan, or a dream that is nurtured quietly. Once your foundation is secure, once your preparation is complete, then, and only then, can you share your ambitions strategically with people who will support rather than dilute your vision. Your weaknesses fall into the same category. We all have them. We all have areas where we feel insecure, unprepared, or uncertain, and there is a temptation to share these with others as a form of vulnerability, thinking it will foster connection. But here's the reality: exposing your weaknesses too soon can shift the dynamic of any relationship. It can create an unintended hierarchy where the other person has insight into areas where you feel fragile or unsure. That knowledge can be used, consciously or unconsciously, to influence your decisions, test your limits, or even undermine your confidence. Protecting your weaknesses is not hiding from yourself, it is asserting ownership over your power and ensuring that your growth is guided by you, not by external pressures. Think of a woman with a powerful vision who shares her goals too early with someone who is insecure, competitive, or critical. What begins as openness can quickly become a minefield. Her ideas may be questioned, minimized, or even dismissed. She may face subtle discouragement, comparisons, or advice that isn't aligned with her values. By keeping her ambitions private, she preserves the energy, focus, and drive required to see them to fruition. She ensures that when she does share, she does so with clarity, confidence, and authority. This principle extends beyond professional goals or financial ambitions. It applies to life plans, personal growth, relationships, and even the steps you take to strengthen your body, and spirit. Every strategic choice you make, every plan, every vision deserves protection until it is ready to be revealed. The more carefully you guard this information, the more power you retain to act decisively and without distraction. Your life becomes a series of intentional moves rather than reactive decisions influenced by external pressures or judgments. There is also an intrinsic value in being selective about sharing. When you reveal your goals or ambitions only to those who have earned your trust, you cultivate a network of support that is authentic, focused, and empowering. These are the people who celebrate your progress without comparison, who provide guidance without judgment, and who help you advance without compromising your vision. By contrast, sharing too broadly can attract doubt, envy, or interference, forces that are not aligned with your highest growth. Moreover, safeguarding your ambitions and weaknesses teaches self-respect. It reinforces that your energy, your focus, and your dreams are yours to manage. It cultivates a mindset of empowerment, that you are in control of your path, and that others do not dictate your limits or your direction. It trains you to act with purpose, rather than constantly seeking validation or approval, and it ensures that when you do achieve, your success is yours, fully realized and untainted by the influence of those who may have doubted or questioned you along the way. By keeping your ambitions private, you also enhance the impact of your achievements. There is something magnetic about a woman whose results speak louder than her words. When others witness her success, it carries a weight that mere plans or discussions cannot. People respect outcomes, not intentions. By acting quietly, preparing strategically, and revealing selectively, you create a presence that commands admiration, inspires respect, and cultivates influence. So, remember this: your true goals, ambitions, and weaknesses are sacred. Guard them wisely, share them selectively, reveal them only to those who have earned the right to witness your journey and support your vision. By doing so, you maintain control over your life, preserve your energy, and strengthen your focus. You assert your independence, protect your confidence, and ensure that your growth is guided by intention rather than external pressures. When you master this, when you safeguard your ambitions and weaknesses while acting decisively toward your goals, you step into a rare kind of power. You navigate life with confidence, strategy, and authority. You inspire others not through words alone, but through the quiet, undeniable force of your actions, and you become a woman who is unstoppable, unshakable, and truly in control of her destiny. Remember this: your life, your experiences, your dreams, and your deepest truths are yours first. They are the foundation of your power, the source of your confidence, and the essence of who you are. The world may try to pressure you into oversharing, into seeking validation, into giving away pieces of yourself before they are earned. But you are not here to serve anyone else's curiosity or insecurity. You are here to live on your own terms, to walk boldly with dignity, and to protect the sacred parts of yourself that make you unstoppable. Keeping certain things priv. 8. Your financial situation, your past relationships, your vulnerabilities, your intimate history, and your true goals is not about secrecy or mistrust. It is about strategy. It is about self-respect. It is about understanding that the information you guard is power, and the way you choose to wield that power determines the quality of your relationships, the strength of your independence, and the clarity of your vision for your life. Every decision to protect yourself, every boundary you set, every moment you choose discretion over disclosure is a declaration: you are in control, you are wise, you are unshakable. You are a woman who commands respect without demanding it, who moves through life with intention, and who knows that not everything needs to be revealed for others to recognize your greatness. So carry this truth with you. Your story, your heart, and your ambitions are precious. Guard them, cherish them, share them only with those who have earned the right to hold them. And as you do, step into every room, every relationship, and every challenge with the confidence that comes from knowing your worth, protecting your power, and living fully on your own terms. Because a woman who protects her power is a woman who can never be underestimated, and her potential is limitless.